Jeffrey, how hard was it after this mutiny to, deal with one side of your tribe being like, Debbie's got to go, and your heart being like, no, Debbie's telling the truth, Debbie?
Listen,
How hard was
I
that?
tried, and I couldn't do anything about it. I had to go with what they said. I told them, I'm like, I'm loyal to Debbie right now. I cannot vote for her. You guys can vote however you want to. The majority is going to do whatever they want. I'm not going to vote for Debbie this round. She's going to be out regardless if I vote for her or not. And I did not feel comfortable voting for Debbie because I didn't think she did anything wrong at that moment.
Thank you.
All right, now before we move on, I just want to still talk to Debbie, but there's just one other thing we need to touch on. Debbie, we kind of talked about, your whole set course of the game, being a strong contender in a good alliance at the start, then the shuffle, then the mutiny, and all throughout this, you kind of developed this rivalry with a fellow contestant being Eric.
Sandy, I hate you so much.
I gotta touch.
No, yes, you're right.
Yeah, just explain a little bit, like why, how did this rivalry start? What happened? And yeah.
I didn't feel like he was. I wasn't sure if he was being real with me, and I felt like he was 100% with Nicole, and that I just wasn't. I wasn't sure if and you've seen the confessionals, Sandy, and same with Kieran.
I know all.
You know that. I said I really like Eric. He plays hard, and and at the same time, I wasn't sure about him. And plus, I had obviously the 5. So I don't have any. Well, until he tried to intimidate me with that stupid little video.
Now let's show that to Eric. Eric,
I didn't have animosity towards him.
Eric,
but
what?
Then it was like, serious?
Where did the video come? This is the infamous video. People all understand what this means a little bit, but explain a little bit why you made the video, what were the intentions, and all that stuff.
Okay, so I was talking with Chris. We were in a Skype call, and then all of a sudden he got pulled into their 5 chat. And during that whole chat, I mean, Chris was still communicating me with what was going on. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call Debbie. So I called Debbie, and she went to Chris and said, oh my God, or said to the whole group that he's calling me, like, what should I do or whatever. And then Chris had told me this. And then I found out that she just ignored the call. So I was like, you know what? If she's just going to ignore me like that, I'm just going to make a video. And literally, I had no intentions on, like, pissing her off or, like, intimidating her. I was just, like, in a moment where, like, all right, I'm just going to be, like, funny right now. And I just glared at her, and I
thought you were. I didn't know. It didn't come across like you were trying to be funny. It came across like you were trying to intimidate me, and I'm like, who the fuck? Oh, sorry. But
Debbie, this tribal council said.
Try to intimidate me.
Debbie,
you can say fuck. It's okay.
Debbie, this tribal council set is more than used to your profanity, honey. Don't worry.
Yes, I know. Sorry. Sorry. I know.
Okay, well, with that being said, Debbie, I know you didn't perceive it, of course, because you were in the game with him and you were like, like I said, the rival. You didn't perceive the video. It's very welcoming and, it tore you up a little bit. But now that it's all said and done, do you have anything to say to Eric? Eric, do you have anything to say to Debbie? Maybe we can, move on to the Venezuela alumni and you guys can hold hands and be friends?
We can hold hands and walk down the beach together.
I guess I'll say something first. I mean, she'll find out how excited I was that she was on the tribe. And literally, she was one of the most dedicated people on the tribe. And I noticed that during the scavenger hunt challenge. She did an amazing job, and that's something that I admired about her. And in one of my confessionals, I said that, like, I really wanted to work with her and Nicole just based on that challenge. But, I mean, it didn't work out that way, but yeah.
I just posted the glare video so everybody knows what we were just talking about.
Oh my God. Can I insert really quickly?
Of course, Cody, come on, jump in.
Sorry, I'm just trying to listen to everybody.
I absolutely love Debbie, and like going back to what she said about Robbie and Aaron and Daniel when they jumped over, I'm trying to play kind of like two sides of the game here. So it's like I wanted her to stay with us because of all the people in the game besides the people that I had made an alliance with prior to Debbie. I trusted Debbie more than anything, and I love Debbie as a person. I love her as a player. And there's, you want to play both sides, but you don't want to tell her like, oh, don't worry about them jumping because they're with me and like they're gonna protect you. Like we're coming for Kelman, we're coming for Eric, we're coming for Billy. Your name's not being brought up, but you can't tell her that because you want to trust her 100%, but you can never trust someone 100% in this game. But just on a personal note, Debbie, you know how much I love you so much, and I don't know how much my word is worth in this game to the production team, but if there ever is another All-Stars or another season where returning players get to come back on the merit of their game, I 100% give you my recommendation for Debbie as a player. She is amazing personally, and getting to know her personally, she's amazing strategically, and she is a gamer, and I love her to death. So if there ever is a season where someone is allowed to come back, I 100% want to see Debbie come back. She has my complete and full recommendation as a player.
Hey, I have a question based off something you just said, Cody, and then we're gonna move on from Debbie. But Miss
Amen
Debbie,
to what Cody said.
with
Amen.
what I'm having deja vu right now. I swear that I've like dreamed this before. Anyway, Debbie, with what Cody just said, do you think if you stayed on their tribe during the mutiny that he could have pulled through and maybe pulled you in tight with his Chikara boys and Kelman would have been on the outs and Billy and Nicole and Eric?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I just didn't, I didn't see it that way, Sandy. I didn't know what was going on. I saw the three move over, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm in big trouble. There goes my profanity again. Oh, God forgive me.
You're going straight to hell.
But
that was a joke.
I just didn't see it that way. And if you don't mind, I really want to hop back to Eric. Eric, you are an amazing freaking player, and no matter what happened and what went down with us, I really do like you. And I always, when I got to know you and I was on calls with you, I really liked you. And I was always so impressed with how much you put in, especially the scavenger hunt. You put in so much, and so I just want to say that. Okay, I'm done.
Well, I appreciate that, Debbie, and it's very mutual, and I hope that we can talk after this game and, make this relationship a friendly one.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Debbie, so much. Now, before I move on, just one last thing. What do you think of iSurvivor as an experience? Would you recommend it to a friend and all that jazz?
I would. The only thing that makes me pause a little are those really, really long ass challenges where I have to be up 24 hours.
Everybody.
Yeah. That just killed me. But otherwise, it was an amazing experience.
The start of this game, you guys had it hard.
The people that I met through this, and it's great for somebody who loves the game as much as I do. Like you said, to get to do it on some level until I finally get cast.
Heard. Thank you, Debbie. You've been irreplaceable. You've been fantastic. Welcome to the iSurvivor family.
Thank you.
Okay, next on my naughty list is Kelman. Mr. Josh, what is up, buddy?
Good evening, everyone.
Long time no talk. How you been?
Not bad. I've just been living life, and obviously, as everyone probably realizes, it was more of a release than a voting out when I got booted, and it definitely granted me the time that I appreciated to be with other people. So, with that said, your questions?
Oh, sorry. I feel bad for Nicole. I'm gonna guess after.
Oh my God.
Hey.
Yay, Nicole!
Nicole's back.
I'm so frustrated.
Well, with that said, guys, thanks for joining the reunion. I'll see you next season. Bye.
Oh my God, it stopped right when Dylan
Yeah, he actually proposed. Okay, so I'm on Josh right now, Nicole. Welcome, Mr. Kelman. Okay, so I'm gonna get real with you, bro. I personally, despite what other alumni said, it's sort of like the same situation as Nicole. I don't give a fuck what any other alumni thought. I don't care that they didn't know who you were. I don't care that they didn't watch Pharrell, and I don't care that they weren't excited to see you play. I hosted you. I know what you had the potential to bring to the table, and I knew our relationship and your relationship with production the past few seasons. So this was your opportune, and you were like the first auto in of all the favorites. With that being said, you definitely did, just like Nicole, have some like alumni and viewers being like, "What the fuck? Who's this guy? Why is he in there?" Now, with that being said, throughout the course of the game, I was hoping, like Nicole and like a Vardavar, that you would change the people's opinions and their just how they view you. And some people didn't even like they knew Nicole, so they like already had their perceptions of her playing in India and you know that nobody knew really how you played in Faro except for maybe people who played with you like Drew and Sherry and Rob who hosted you. But I was really waiting for you to like change people's perceptions and opinions and be like, oh my gosh, I was totally wrong about Kelman. He's totally kicking ass. And for some reason, I don't know, it's personality differences from viewers and yourself, or just how you came. I don't know what it was, but your storyline never reached that point of being unknown or unrootable or unlikable to like people sort of rooting for you and backing you and you having I don't know. Do you explain to me why you think that was that you didn't get this what a quote unquote redemption that some of these other favorites I felt had by the time they got voted off.
Yeah, true. That's a fair point. And I mean, it's tough to get to know someone when you're not actually physically talking to them. And that's why I say I feel like, and I think I mentioned this to a few people in the cast, I feel like I would do much better on the actual show because I can look into people's eyes and they interact with me on a daily basis. If I'm on a phone call with someone for half an hour, 45 minutes a day, a couple days a week, and I understand some personalities that you're more likely to be able to understand them through that mode of communication.
Fair, very fair.
But I think just the way I work, I'm a really sarcastic person. People don't always get my humor all the time, and I mean that's just the way it goes sometimes. It's the cast that I drew in being in this game. It's just I mean I can't make people like me or make people root for me. I can do what I do and hope it sticks.
Now with that being said, I know you had some choice words, and a thread was made after your eviction. I think it was with Robbie, and your ranking on MVPs, weren't high, to say the least. Does how you left the game, and does it leave a bad taste in your mouth at all? Like, oh gosh, I Survivor, ew, type at all? Do you have
No, I mean, I can never harbor any ill will towards a person or a group of people over something that I did. I know it's a game where you have to negotiate with other people, but the way that I played and the result that happened to me is 100% on myself. And so, I mean, if it's something with Robbie where he wasn't a fan of some words that I said, or anything the way that some alumni is ranking me, I mean that's a reflection on me and not something that I can say, oh,
Mr.
person A should be blah 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 or something like that.
Heard. Now, looking back, the season's over. You've had time to, reflect on your game and watch the rest of it play out. Is there one defining either moment or move in the game that you went one direction when you really should have went the other?
Honestly, I'm gonna go back to the first round when Gabe left, and I feel like if I wanted to do something, like Gabe at that point was a top one or two ally for me.
Jew Boy Alliance.
Really short
Was it the Jew Boy Alliance or something like that?
Yeah, yes, the Alpha Jews.
Yeah.
But I was really tight with him. I felt like Bardaval, or he and I, or he probably felt that I was tight with him. And at that point, I felt like I was really ceding control and any possible control that I could have had. So, I mean, you don't want to ruffle feathers in the first round, which is probably the reason why I ended up going against Gabe. But I think back in that first round is where things totally could have been differently if I not had ceded control to Sassy.
Yeah, I would probably say next time it's always like foreshadowing the course of the game when in the first round you end up voting out your first alliance or your number one ally. Any regrets at all other than that?
No, I wouldn't even say that was a regret because I just did it and I own up to it. I'm my own person. I don't need second chances
Heard.
because second chances are for wishers, not doers.
You don't consider this a second chance, this game?
Well, I mean, this was something that was granted to me. So, I mean, yes, in terms of that, sure. But in terms of whether I would go back,
So, second chances that are granted by me are okay, but any other person who grants you a second chance are gaga.
I hold you to the highest
Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm number one on that list. Thank you. And Mr. Kelman, one last little thing I wanted to mention before we move on from that portion of the game and we head to the merge where the real shit went down. Now this has to do with a little bit of you and Debbie. Both of you actually got me put on the wiki for cussing out the cast this season as some big controversy, which somebody had to point out. Which somebody had to point out to me. I didn't even know Rob snuck that on the wiki as it was like relevant to the season because it wasn't. But to further perpetuate my big bad wolf stereotype, I guess you had to just add that in there without my consent. Anyway, a big moment before the merge hit was the mutiny, which came with some happy reactions from people like Robbie and Daniel, who whipped it out and helicoptered it for 3 days, and people like Debbie and Kelman were sour grapes about the twist. Now, I want you to know I don't ever feel the need to like defend my twist or myself or anything production has to do when a cast bitches or complains. Trust me, I've hosted a bajillion games with hundreds of people, different personalities and stuff. So it doesn't phase me. Like if you think the game's rigged, suck my dick and either quit or continue playing. But for some reason, like the whole start of this game was amazing. I was having such a great time hosting that when this mutiny came and we had a sort of little backlash and a little reading conversations in journals or watching video confessional updates and seeing people whinge and moan and complain about how they think it was an inserted twist, how it wasn't legit, and the round just whatever the reasons were. And then the round after you got voted out, and I felt like ever since the mutiny happened, you sort of like gave up on the game or thought we weren't legit. So I went out of my way to prove to you guys, hey motherfuckers, like this isn't rigged. Everything was been planned before December even was over. Like now that is all said and done, like do you really think the game is rigged? And do you think that your position in the game being going from a 5-person alliance to a new mutiny tribe, do you think your position in the game, how it changed, had something to do with your attitude?
Well, first off, I'm going to address a little bit of that first part. I don't think I ever said, at least in a serious fashion, that I thought it was rigged. I'm sorry if that is how something came across, but the way I ever addressed anything like that was more of a joking matter. I never thought in 100% in my brain. I never thought at least 1% in my brain that was planned in accordance to how the game was going. I knew it was pre-planned, so I'm sorry that happened. But I do think that the mutiny definitely negatively affected my game. if my team kept winning as the dominant team at that time, then people like Robbie and Daniel and people would just get kicked off, and that would help me in the merge. But I don't think that I can 100% attribute my loss to the mutant,
Heard. Well, anything you have to say as a viewer to the final two, to anybody you played with?
Can I ask a question, or?
Of course, yeah, totally.
Can I talk to Sassy for a little bit?
Of course.
Oh God.
No, I just want to know, when you told Debbie and I to come over, were you just leading the lambs to the slaughter, or was there still at least a 50% chance you were going to stick to Koshi?
Well,
You don't need to be
You don't gotta lie. I'll tell him you were leading him
Oh
to
my
the
God.
slaughter.
I didn't want you out, but I knew that what were you guys gonna do over there? Honestly. And I felt like it would be kind of protecting myself a little bit too. But you kind of set yourself up with that too. You went into the other tribe and you told them to attack me to challenge, and then you told people that I was close to come and vote me out, and then you told me to vote Craig out. So I don't know exactly what happened during that whole tribe swap, but I'm not really sure what you're looking for. But and you probably were on the rock bottom. Like if you thought you were safer on the other side, you probably you weren't.
Well, I mean, they were. Like, if they stood on that side, they probably would have won the challenge and it would have been safe.
Yeah, but then they would have gone to tribal again, so they probably wouldn't have been safe. Like,
Yeah.
I know that Robbie doesn't like him. I know that a lot of people were annoyed with him, so he probably would have gone anyways.
Okay.
You never know. Would Cody and Chris have worked with them still if they were on that tribe? What about that?
I don't think so.
No, they were saying. What? If not.
All right, I'm moving on to the merge. I love you guys, but I have questions for our first merge victim. He is on call. I'm not sure he can talk, but
Hi.
everybody say hello to Billy.
Oh.
Hi, Billy.
Hello.
Jeffrey, you should know what place you got in the game.
What's up?
Billy, I love you.
How you been, Billy?
Billy.
Hey.
How you been?
I've been good.
So, first question I want to just mention. Who do you blame most for your vote off?
Like, I honestly don't know. Like, I've had different people tell me different things.
All right, okay, let me rephrase. When you initially got voted out, who were you blaming?
Chris.
Chris.
What a horrible question.
Is it still Chris, you think? Was he responsible?
I mean, I understand where Chris is coming from
Uh-huh.
more now.
Yeah,
and
yeah, but
obviously, what?
yeah, like I mean, now that it all said and done, you might understand his reasonings for doing what he did, but you still, hold him the main one accountable.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. He was talking to me all day, and we were like keeping on the same page. Granted, I did end up voting Cody, so we weren't on the same page anyway.
Yeah.
But it just seemed really, really surprising based on everything.
Mm-hmm. Now, Billy.
Like, had our conversations gone a little bit differently, I honestly might have voted Sassy that round. Sorry, Sassy, not for any reason of wanting you gone, but to save face with him. Thank God.
Billy, were you
Yes.
blindsided more in this season or in Mexico?
That's a good question. I think it was almost equal, actually.
Well, that's a good way to go out. I mean, I'd rather go out in a blindside than like see my eviction coming and from a mile away.
Because then you're just this like sad little.
Yeah, you're like a wet noodle in the corner, useless to
Exactly.
nobody.
So I would much rather go out in a blindside because that means they, I guess, respect me enough as a player to get out of it if I knew I was going.
Heard. My another question to you, Billy, is I can't help but notice, since I've hosted you twice now, I can't help but notice that you always seem to have this initial alliance, this initial plan, and then a swap or something happens, and you not saying so quickly, but it seems that you change your game up to where, like, you trust the wrong person at the swap. And it is the downfall of your game, and the person you trust is always this charming, nice guy who ends up jabbing it right in you.
Yep.
So next game, what are you not gonna do after a swap?
Trust the wrong person.
Yeah, you're not gonna trust anybody.
Anybody.
But am I off base with that like observation when I say that?
I mean, no, you're not. I've had conversations with Chris since he got voted out, and I know what could have actually happened with us. He was in a position where it would have looked fishy for him to try to save me, and something could have happened between us. Absolutely. I don't think it's the exact same thing as Mexico with Curtis, but yeah. At the same
No,
time,
yeah, it's definitely not like being backstabbed by Curtis, not at all.
right. So yeah.
Just to add to that, he wasn't gonna go until literally like 10 minutes before, and not to like throw
Yeah,
anyone under the bus, but
well, Chris, what you want to enlighten me a little bit? I
I
kind
think
of,
it was
sort of know what
Robbie that
happened,
just
but my
didn't we just say
memory's
at the
kind of
last minute
fuzzy.
Robbie wasn't just like somebody just said Billy's name.
Yeah, it was. It was just like paranoia getting the best of me.
Yeah, it was literally like 10 minutes before though. Like it wasn't like a planned event.
So it was supposed to be sassy.
Yeah, all day it was. Literally.
Yeah.
Little did I know, I thought it was like this grand Machiavellian scheme by the Chicago.
She's like, you guys are assholes.
All sense of security.
You snakes.
These bitches. That was Matt, but no, in hindsight, I understand why they did what they did too.
I have to say, the women of this season definitely did not disappoint when it came to tribal councils. Sammy's reaction when Billy got voted out, Nicole's reaction when Dylan got voted out, Debbie's reaction when she was getting voted out, Ginny's reaction at every tribal council. Oh, and by the way, Kelman, I did want to mention, now that I just mentioned Ginny, that you are part of my favorite moment scene of this entire season, which was at the tribal council that you had lost, the Dylan tribal council, where Ginny just done ripped you in 3 new assholes.
Yeah.
That was like
That's
literally
beautiful
my
right there.
favorite
But
thing.
It's actually funny. I don't know how many people know this, but I was completely playing that up, at least from my end.
It was
I really
great.
was. Like, I didn't care what she thought, and I was just trying to make her look bad. But, oh well.
Anyway,
a fun
that was
moment.
amazing.
I
Thank you
enjoyed it.
for being a part of that and taking that verbal abuse like a man. Good job. I feel bad for her husband. Moving on. Let me go back to Billy. So Billy,
Hi.
you merged in minority. You were the first one out on your side, and you left the game with 2 original Ubus, still fighting, Sammy and Craig. How was it to
Yes.
watch? What was your reactions and stuff watching their success round by round?
It was a mixture of really, really exciting and really, really frustrating because I so badly wanted to be there with them. I just gotta say, like, Dogpack, hands down my favorite alliance ever, and I really wish that I was there to go far with them, but I'm also very, very proud of them.
You want to explain everybody a little bit what Dogpack is, when it started?
Dogpack started like day one, and it was me, Sammy, and Craig. I think I don't know, yeah, it just happened really, really quickly, and we all just clicked and never really doubted each other until now I hear Craig mention something about the idol, but I still think the same thing about the whole alliance.
Well, it was more, I don't know if this is super true on Craig's part, but it was more like, yes, Sammy has the idol Eric. Duh, doesn't everybody know that? Type of thing. Like,
What
anyway.
did you say? I missed that.
Oh, I was
When
just
did
saying,
this happen? That's what I want to know. When
Yeah,
did
Craig,
Craig?
when did it happen?
during either one of the switches or the mutinies or
I
something
think
like
it was
that.
right after the swap.
Oh God.
Oh, very interesting.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Deb.
It was like,
I guess it happens.
of course
Sorry.
Sammy has the idol Eric. I thought that was common knowledge. Duh. And Eric's like, oh yeah, totally. Everybody knows that. And it like he's making it, and he's like, yeah, right. What the fuck? Nobody knows that. Like,
I mean, everybody assumed it, but he basically made it like common knowledge.
Yeah.
So.
okay.
I think I told Sammy that Eric knew or something from Craig. But she was. I was like, "There's no way. No way Craig would ever do that."
Okay, well, Billy, it was a pleasure hosting you once again. Again, one of my favorites, and
Thank you.
I was just gutted to see you go. I know I took it hard. I probably took it harder than you, but again, thank you so much for playing. I always love you and I Survivor Land, so thanks again, buddy.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, after Billy was Jeffrey.
Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Jeffrey, I saw something that you posted on Facebook, like talking all this good stuff, where when Ricky was advertising it in a group, and like
Huh?
I want to know why you have such good things to say about this series when I cussed you out every round.
Oh, because I still had fun. I don't care. And if you knew me in the game and you talked to me over Skype or whatever, you know I was like the most positive person. I try to stay positive the whole time, even if we lost every freaking challenge. I was like, don't worry, we're gonna get the next one. I stayed positive the whole time. You don't even know how many times I got calls from people who are crying. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, just get it out of your mind. Stay focused on what we have to do, and just let's get on with it.
Now, Jeffrey,
Yes.
out of everybody in the game, you're definitely one of the more. I don't.
I
I
can't
don't.
hear you.
I don't. No, I was thinking of the word, and I don't think the
Oh.
word is likable is like the right or proper word, but like I don't know. There was just something about you where even if you didn't update your journal as much as everybody else, I was always still rooting for you. And it wasn't until like you just didn't re-challenge instructions like ever, ever, like
I was so
ever.
excited.
I can't be that mad at you. I mean, you're enthusiastic. But it wasn't until every challenge I was like explaining over and over and over again where I started not to root for you as much. But that's kind of like not really gameplay wise because I was rooting for your alliance and all that. But is there anything that you like regret? Oh, and my point of saying that was you're likable, but I don't really remember anything in the game that you did move wise that was super memorable or substantial. Um, do you regret not having that defining moment at all before you left the game?
Of course. Like, I know in my casting with you, like, I told you I was going to play this role of this really nice guy who's going to just turn on people. And I just feel like I never felt like it was the right time because I was always in the minority. So I had to stick to who I had to stick to. And I felt like that I didn't have a chance to switch with anyone. And if I did, I wanted to switch, or I wanted to, like, join forces with Daniel the whole time. But I ended up playing a game that, Sassy, I'm going to say it, I've been playing the game for Sassy most of the time. And then what happened was Sassy was playing more of the game for Samantha. So in turn, I was playing the game for Samantha. And so whatever Samantha wanted Sassy to do, Sassy wanted me to do. And Sassy is, she's a favorite. She's played the game before. So of course I'm going to put my faith in her and like, okay, cool, let's go with this.
Honey,
I
did
just
you see the
never
season
had
she's a
chance to
favorite
just go out on
from?
my own. Say it again?
I said you probably should have done your research. Did you see the season she's a favorite from and like
No,
who
I
you were
did
following
not.
the lead of?
What I kept saying.
Listen,
I
I talked to Sassy. I mean, we were together since the beginning, and we almost talked every day since this whole thing started. And so I built this really strong, trust and bond with her this whole time.
Now,
And I
Jeffrey,
just felt like, I can trust her. And I mean, like, I'm not saying like she did something bad to me. I mean, she had to do what she had to do. The cards were in my favor that round. It was, the Shakara boys wanting to, throw shit up in the air and let's say, oh, let's split a vote today. Like, that was the reason why I was out that round.
So
Jeffrey,
are you saying that if you weren't in my position, you would not vote me?
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you, that, you have to do what you have to do, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
But the whole thing was, like, I didn't know what was going on, and so, of course, I was very bitter, as we like to say, because I felt like I didn't know if you guys fought for me at all. And I felt like, now that I know that.
all right, we'll be right back. Internet went out.